You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. The Pennsylvania State Police and Crime Stoppers introduced a tip line for anyone that may have additional information regarding a 1976 cold case. After 44 years, female remains given the name Beth Doe found on the riverbank of the Lehigh River in Carbon County were finally identified as Evelyn Colon of New Jersey. Criminal homicide charges were filed March 31st against 63-year-old Louise Sierra of Ozone Park, New York, who was 19 at the time of the murder and is currently awaiting extradition to Pennsylvania. State police are encouraging anyone who feels they can provide insight into the case to contact the tip line at 1-800-472-8477. Local municipalities are questioning how funds made available through the American Rescue Plan can be spent. The City of Hazleton will receive $17.9 million in federal funds, prompting Mayor Jeff Gassat to meet with other mayors and the Pennsylvania Municipal League Board to determine how the money can be spent. According to the federal government, the money can be used for sewer and water projects and for pay raises for essential workers. However, Gassat has concerns because it doesn't stipulate that funding can be used for items that affect the city, such as pensions, taxes, and road projects. Senator Bob Casey's office said officials are looking to the Department of Treasury for guidance and expect that the agency will release more in the near future. A fire damaged 3 homes Tuesday afternoon in Schuylkill County. Fire crews were called to 337 South Broad Mountain Avenue in Frackville shortly before 3 p.m. Smoke could be seen coming from the second floor of the home and quickly spread to the 335 and 339 sides. There's no word on the extent of the damage at this time, as the fire is still under investigation. A Hazleton man's facing drug charges following a report of a suspicious vehicle. Officers located the vehicle in the area of East 1st and Thompson Streets in Hazleton. The occupant was identified as Robinson Baldayake Milanes. He was found to be in possession of suspected heroin and fentanyl, along with other items consistent with the sale of illegal narcotics. He was charged with possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance and taken to Luzerne County Prison. A Hazel Township woman was taken into custody following a traffic stop back on March 30th. State police responded to a hit-and-run crash in the area of West 28th Street and Route 309. They located the suspect and pulled over 38-year-old Christy Ann Winches, who showed signs of impairment. Troopers were transporting her to the hospital when she began kicking and screaming. She remained combative while being evaluated at the hospital and even tried to stab a trooper with a ballpoint pen. She was charged with aggravated assault, simple assault, resisting arrest, and harassment, and taken to Luzerne County Prison after being unable to post bail. A New York City man was returned to Luzerne County to face charges of a hit-and-run. 29-year-old Unique Lavon Jones of the Bronx is currently jailed without bail at the prison on multiple charges, stemming from a Wilkes-Barre hit-and-run crash at South Main and East Northampton Streets back on February 10th. Jones allegedly struck 38-year-old Angela Velasquez as she crossed East Northampton Street and failed to remain at the scene. After striking the victim, Jones allegedly abandoned the vehicle. Velasquez suffered serious injuries and had her right leg amputated. Jones then fled the area until he was eventually captured by U.S. Marshals in North Carolina and extradited back to Wilkes-Barre. Governor Tom Wolf visited a Weis Market store yesterday to say thank you to all the frontline employees who sacrificed during the pandemic. WYLN's Julie Stefanovich has the story.
Governor Tom Wolf paid a visit to Weis Markets in Cumberland County yesterday. He thanked the employees for their heroic efforts as they worked on the front lines of the pandemic.
On behalf of all Pennsylvanians, I want to thank the Commonwealth's grocery workers. You do hard work. You protect your communities while providing food and essential supplies, all the while taking on more risks for yourselves. My administration has worked to support our essential and frontline workers throughout the pandemic. And I'm proud that Pennsylvania is now able to expand eligibility to protect the same workers who have done so much to protect their neighbors every day for the past year.
A special initiative was recently created to vaccinate workers in 4 targeted industries. They include grocery stores, law enforcement, fire departments, and food and agriculture.
This is a huge step forward in our vaccine rollout because it offers protection to a group of essential workers who work closely with the public every day.
Wise Markets is part of the federal retail pharmacy partnerships and offers appointments to eligible residents.
This program helps to increase vaccine availability in all of our communities beyond the allocation that the state gets. I think the combination of everything we get, everything that the federal partnership gets, everything that Philadelphia gets, is around right now about 1 million vaccines every week in Pennsylvania.
Under the Accelerated Vaccination Eligibility Plan, all residents in Phase 1B became eligible on April 5th. People in Phase 1C will be eligible to schedule appointments on April 12th, and beginning on April 19th, all Pennsylvanians will be eligible for the vaccine. For more information, visit the Department of Health's website or call 1-877-724-3258. Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thank you, Julie. Coming up on Wyln News, free smoke detectors in Shenandoah, plus how the Lady Bulldogs overcame their mid-season quarantine. But first, let's take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Melania, and a few of them today is going to be sunny out.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Greater Hazleton. If you were ever thinking about trading your car, bring it in now. Trades are at an all-time high. Bring your late model in, you'll get a couple grand more than you did a couple months ago. If you're looking for a car, we've got a huge selection of GMC, Buick, Chevrolets. We've got Nissans. We've got a whole bunch of vehicles. We even have Chad Thomas. We even have Chad Thomases. So if you're looking to buy a Chad Thomas, a Buick, a Chevy, a Cadillac, come see us at Blaze Alexander Greater Hazleton and see where we take the deals the other guys won't.
Shenandoah Fire Department volunteers will be installing smoke detectors for free in borough homes next Saturday, April 17th. Installation sponsored by the American Red Cross will begin at 9 a.m. and continue as needed. Volunteers will need to come into your home as they're required to do the actual installation and will be following CDC guidelines for COVID-19 and wearing a face mask. Residents must pre-register for the installations by noon on Friday, April 16th. They can do so in person at Shenandoah Borough Hall, 15 West Washington Street, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., or online at surveymonkey.com. The department says, as a last resort, phone registrations will also be accepted by calling 570-462-1918. Wyln's all-time OT hero Marty Burns was drafted to the news for the in-depth analysis of what's happening on and off season across our viewing area. This week he's chatting with Berwick Lady Bulldogs head basketball coach Bill Phillips. So let's talk sports. Here's part 3.
Not long after that, things got tough for your team. Quarantine. So I'll let you just talk about the timeline leading up to that second Wilkes-Barre game and then leading up to that big week with Hazleton area.
It was definitely a tough time for us. January 23rd, we had a Saturday practice and got a call from one of our players first, Rachel White Knight, a starting sophomore she starts as a sophomore with our 4 seniors. she needed to take a leave of absence. And, that's devastating in itself when you lose a starter. But probably about 20, 25 minutes later, another player had called and said she had tested positive, so we had to shut down. And I remember, calling our administration, our superintendent said, get them out of the gym and follow the protocol. And we spent a few hours actually on the phone with DOH and the CDC. But to tell our players that, hey, we're done and we're not sure what's going to happen after this, it was just a very tearful, emotional couple of minutes with our team because we had to get them out of there. And we did have, we hosted some Zoom meetings just to keep them mentally tough. And I'll tell you what, when we came back, we only had 2 practices going into a 3-game road trip. And when I met with our staff, Coach Petro and Coach Calarco and Coach Gotham, we said, do we go in light? We only have 2 practices, but with Crestwood and Wilkes-Barre and Dallas on the slate, all on the road,
right,
we hammered them in those 2 practices. And I'll tell you what, they responded. And we were like, hey, we might have a shot here. And to go into Crestwood without Rachel Whiteknight, and Gabby Starr also had an extended quarantine because she tested negative, but because she lives with someone who was positive, the quarantine's longer. So we actually started a freshman, Rayanne Andrus, against Crestwood, and she was a little tight going in. And Serena DeFinis is a junior that we had run the point a little bit. So she had to start also, and to watch those kids step up. Jackie Neville, another senior, she had 10 points that game. Serena DeFinis had 7, and Ray played some great defense. She's such a quick guard and a very good defender, and we were like, wow, hey, we didn't drop off at all here. And we had a very good game at Crestwood. Sadie Zahner, who was also a junior who played JV. We said, hey, here's your opportunity, and she took advantage of it, and she really helped us in that game. And then we had to go to Wilkes-Barre. Serena DeFinis, who I just mentioned, she tore her ankle in that Crestwood game, so we were actually down to 4 varsity players. Wow. Going into Wilkes-Barre, like you said, they're such a tough team, and with Gloria, Bob Clarko came up with a masterful defensive plan to play some junk defense, and we actually had Rennie Murphy guard her, and the rest of the team played zone. And it worked out. It really bothered their guards because they couldn't get it to her, and they like to penetrate and create. But with the zone that we had put in for that special game, we had some kids step up. Again, the freshman Rayanne Andrus had to start, and on that stage against, like you said, a 6A school that went to the arena, she did a great job. We didn't have Gabby Starr or Serena DeFinis or Rachel Whiteknight, and that's our rotation other than the 4 seniors.
Coming up on Jetto's News Choice, we're exercising in quarantine on this Wellness Wednesday in Community and You. Plus, leading the way into Autism Acceptance Month, Part 3. Stay with us.
This Good News Wednesday, we're highlighting the heroic work of 8-year-old Jackson Dempsey, who saved his little sister's life after she was choking on food.
I'm like, no way, this is like the best day ever. That's what I think in my mind, but everywhere, like in my whole body, I was crying. And this is the best thing, and I can't believe the whole town of Hazleton, just the residents of Hazleton, came here.
Jackson was honored by emergency first responders, Mayor Jeff Cassat, and State Representative Tara Toohill. Jackson was also given the title of Junior Fire Chief. Congratulations, Jackson, for your bravery. That's your Good News Wednesday. Thank you for joining us here on WYLN.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice,
everyday low prices,
plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Welcome to Community and You here on Wyln. I'm Julia Wiegand, and if you haven't guessed it, today is Wellness Wednesday, thanks to our friends over at Lehigh Valley Health Network. We are starting off the new year. New year, same pandemic. And with that same pandemic, a lot of people have been stuck at home, and they have been worried about those quarantine 15, whatever you call them, and they're worried that they might not be able to reach their goals with all these certain restrictions that are meant to prevent the spread of the virus. So today we have Lauren Delicio, who is a physical therapy assistant here at the Health and Wellness Center. How are you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. So tell us a little bit about what people can do even at home just to stay active in general.
So some things that you can do now, depending on your fitness level, I know there are people that are really, really active and are really missing out on the gym. And then there's also those people that, that because of the quarantine, they're home more, they're working from home, so they're sitting around more, helping their kids with schoolwork. And you notice that you gain like a few pounds, and I've heard it myself, everybody's very upset that they've gained like 10, 15 pounds over this quarantine. So I'm here today to just talk about some light stuff that you can do at home. I will say I've noticed since March that to get at-home fitness equipment, it's very difficult.
Right.
There's still stuff out there. I actually checked Amazon myself. I've checked Walmart, any kind of sporting goods store. You don't need equipment to do basic exercises. You can use stuff at home, or you can actually just use your own body weight, and that's actually enough to give you the exercise that you need. So what I'm going to do is just like demonstrate some basic stuff. And I will say that if you haven't done an exercise program, please check with your primary care doctor before you start it, just to make sure that you're healthy enough and that they're okay with you starting something lightly. Now, usually we always do a warm-up when we start. So I suggest if it's a nice day, which obviously on Wednesday, we all know last Wednesday it snowed. So obviously I don't want you going outside in the snow, but what you can do is, if it's a nice day, you can go and you can warm up around the block. So you can just take a nice walk around the block. You don't have to go fast, just go at your pace. Or if you don't have the means to do that, just walk in your house. Walk into your kitchen, walk into your living room, and just do that like 10, 15 times, just to kind of get your body a little bit up and moving. So after we do that nice gentle warm-up, if you're one that is a little bit more sedentary and you're not moving around a lot, you can do kicking, you marching, the pillow between your legs, and you can squeeze the pillow. Works your hip and thigh muscles. You could also do sit to stand. So all that is you're going to stand up from your chair and sit back down, not using your arms. If you need to use your arms, by all means, please do. I don't want anybody having falling, but you want to really focus on your legs. If you have soup cans, like heavier cans, you can use heavier cans and do, bicep curls. You can go up over your head and do tricep extension. You can bring your arms in and out. You can do easy squats, just nice and gentle, back nice and straight. You could actually do a full plank. I'm just going to show you modified on your hands, or you can even do your elbows. You can also do squats with a kick up, just like this. Lunges, everybody loves those lunges. Lunge down, or you could do 90-90 lunge. Most people have smartphones, not everybody, but most people have smartphones. So there are applications that you can download that will give you a whole body workout. I know I've downloaded them. It'll go low, medium, or heavy. Always try the low one. Always try the lightest at first. See how your body reacts. If your body is sore afterwards, keep it to that till your body feels better. Then you can progress up to a medium to a heavy exercise. But all you have to do, honestly, is just Google it, put it on any kind of search engine. Body weight exercises. A whole ton will pop up, especially with this pandemic. There's so much information out there that you can get a hold of.
And it also sounds like there's plenty that people can do in their own homes without equipment at whatever level they feel is best fit to suit their needs.
Absolutely, absolutely. It fits honestly, I've actually looked stuff up, and I've tried, some of the stuff is harder, some of it's easy. You could even YouTube it. There's even YouTube channels that you can YouTube to look up stuff that you can do at home. And like I said, just make sure that if you haven't exercised in a while, you just want to make sure you check with your primary care doctor before starting like a really hardcore regimen, because you don't want to hurt yourself in the end.
Now, Lauren, if there's one big message that you want the viewers in our audience to take away from today, what would that be?
Just keep active. I know how hard it is. I have 2 little ones at home. The kids are home. You're trying to help them with schoolwork. But even if you do 10 to 15 minutes, that's better than nothing. And you will see that the weight or even your cardiovascular will improve. And you know what? Even if you can, get the kids involved. That's always something that you can do as well.
Thank you so much for squeezing us in today to chat quarantine exercising.
You're welcome.
And thank you, everybody watching out there. Remember, don't be discouraged if that quarantine just didn't hit you right. There is always time and there's always room to improve both the way you look and the way you feel and the way you are. That's it for this Wellness Wednesday in Community and You. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Chura's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in 610 North Broad Street, West Hazelton, 570-454-7229.
Penn State Hazelton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
Membership opportunities are now available at the Valley Country Club, 79 Country Club Lane in Sugarloaf. Clubhouse upgrades are in progress and will be ready for the spring. Call Frank Radis for details at 570-233-5328.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Paul D'Angelo's leading the way into Autism Acceptance Month and part 3 of this week's series.
And welcome back, folks. We are joined once again by Paul D'Angelo of Mission Autism Clinics. Today, we're going to be asking about ABA therapy. Mission Autism Clinic practices ABA therapy. I guess, is that the correct terminology, practices? But could you briefly explain, I mean, for me, I know what ABA therapy is because personally, I have a nephew who undergoes ABA therapy, and so I've learned more about it as the time has gone on just to understand it. But could you explain the mission of MAC and how you guys practice or go with ABA therapy and how that helps individuals?
Yeah, absolutely. So ABA therapy is applied behavior analysis, which is been used for decades as a therapy for many different modalities, but specifically for autism, it has been scientifically proven to actually, improve the outcomes of children that have autism. So we've, it's not something new, but we are very passionate about ABA therapy and what it does for our children. So what ABA therapy is really the core behind it is positive reinforcement. So we're working on everything from social skills to language to behavioral issues. So when a child is trying to improve on those skills, we reinforce it with positive things that the children may enjoy, and that really is a reinforcer for them to understand, okay, when I do this, I am rewarded. So we really work on that, and what we do at our facility is we meet with the family, go through an assessment with them on what challenges they have with their child, because the spectrum for autism is pretty large.
Yeah.
So we really dig in and spend a couple hours with the parents going through some questions, and then we spend a couple hours with the child doing a functional behavioral assessment where we're actually seeing them in an environment to be able to assess what we're seeing. After that, they go back and our board certified behavior analysts, our BCBAs, they go back and write an individualized treatment plan based upon what they learned from the parent as well as what they learned from the child. And they go back and write that plan, have a meeting with the parents a couple weeks later, sit down and make sure that they understand the goals that we've developed for the child and what tools we're going to use during our therapy. Get their agreement and sign off on that this is the things that they want to work on and see improvement in. And we lay out 6-month plans and we set goals. And as the children master those goals, we're able to update them and increase them so that the child's not consistently working on something that they've already mastered. So our staff is always reevaluating where the child's at. And if they're not making improvement, there's things that we can do to tweak, what we're doing that the child may be more receptive to.
Absolutely. Personally, for me as well, I've seen great improvements with ABA therapy in my nephew. So it's,
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks. Join us back tomorrow for part 4 as we continue to learn more about Mac and Paul D'Angelo. Thank you.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or WYLNTV.com, where you can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. WYLN also wants to wish a special happy birthday to our very own Ryan Osachi. But stay with us. Look at Today's Weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.